Can you guys hear us? So I guess we are live.
Can you guys hear us? Can you guys hear us?
There's a 20 seconds delay as such, but I hope you guys can hear us. This Zoom call is really complicated. All right, I guess everybody is able to hear us. We can actually start streaming. Sorry, people, this is for the first time I'm doing this, so there might be a little bit of confusion because there's a lot of things to adjust and to set before we start the Zoom call. So
The Zoom call is really complicated. All right, I guess everybody.
Okay. Rushi, I guess you can unmute yourself and then you can turn on your video.
Hello,
Perfect.
everyone.
Hey, Rushi. Hi. I'm
Is
just
it
making
there
sure
now?
that we are live on YouTube.
Okay.
Perfect. I guess we are. Okay. Rushi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mohit. Can you hear me?
Okay. Just making sure everybody who's watching on YouTube can hear us. The ideal scenario was we were going to record this interview with ourselves and then post it on the YouTube channel, but that's not happening today because we thought, okay, let's stream it. Whoever wants to watch it can watch it, ask their questions on the live stream. And okay, I can see some comments on. I can see some comments already. So thank you guys. I hope everybody can see us. Okay, Rushi, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mohit, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Very nice. All right, let's get started. It's 11 o'clock. In my central time zone, it's 9 o'clock. In your time zone and in India, it's already 9:30. So, Rushi, thank you so much. And once again, we are back with these live sessions, so-called previous live sessions, and now the YouTube streams. I want to start off the conversation, and I wanted to now talk about most of the things which happened during the last 6 months, COVID, how the world changed, how did we actually, go into this COVID, and now how do we plan to come back up? Uh, all the people who are watching who want to ask their questions, just hold on for a bit, and we'll take your questions once our discussion is over. So just hear us out for 15 to 20 minutes. All right, Rushi, the first question I have for you is India
Very good,
and
Mohit. Let
Tesla.
me say hi to everyone.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. I am Rushikesh, Mohit's friend. We both are from same undergrad college and currently in US. Thanks for joining. It's my pleasure to be here on the live session with Mohit, and I'm really looking forward to answering some of your interesting questions. And yeah, thanks for joining, everyone.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Rushi, the first question I have for you today is India and Tesla, the big revolution, the big news. Elon Musk tweeted something. What did you know of this for being an internal part of the Tesla team? Did you hear any news? And when can we expect a Tesla car on the Indian roads in the traffic and the potholes and just blowing horn?
Well, that's a funny question. Of course, I cannot answer because I've signed a non-disclosure agreement with my company. But in general, to answer your question, yeah, I did read the news as well that Bangalore is being targeted as R&D center for Tesla. I'm not sure when it's gonna happen, but for sure, like why not? Why not India? Because India is one of the largest country in terms of population, and also it ranks fourth in terms of car volume production per year. First is China, of course, then Japan, then US, Germany, and then fifth is India actually. So Tesla has already its presence in North America. Now it's already has its presence in China as well, and then we are opening a Berlin factory next year in Germany. So yeah, why not India? I think the next hotspot for Tesla is going to be India for sure.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay. So, adding to that, can we say that an Indian engineering graduate now doesn't has to come to the US to work with Tesla? He can stay in India and work for that R&D facility, which might be coming up.
For sure. I mean, why not? Because definitely, like the trend which I've seen in Tesla is they tend to hire like local talent. So,
Yeah.
for example, when Tesla went to Shanghai, all the employees which got hired in Shanghai were local Chinese people. Same will happen with Berlin as well. So, I'm pretty sure like India has one of the top-notch engineers in the world. And we are respected around the world, whether it is computer science, mechanical engineering, because tons of engineering school and brilliant syllabus or teaching method which we have in India. So I'm pretty sure Tesla will hire some local talent. And of course, like there are some of the streams in engineering for which there is no alternative. Like for example, we have the best software coders, we have best electronic engineers. So I definitely see a scope for Indian people who are doing engineering in India for getting hired in Tesla, whether it is hardware development, software development, anything related to autopilot, artificial intelligence, machine learning, so on and so forth.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Everybody talks about the work culture difference in the US and around the world, in Germany and in India. Uh, if somebody has to work with Tesla India, so-called, be it in the future, if it's gonna come, and now you're working as a part of the Tesla US team, what do you see a difference of the automobile company's work culture within the company when it comes to working at this global level?
So, like overall, my experience working with Tesla, the environment is pretty open.
Yeah.
Like as long as you have ideas, I think your ideas get promoted very well. There is no hierarchy in Tesla, meaning that if you have an idea, if you go to your manager and if he doesn't respond to your idea, you can definitely go a level above. So that kind of work culture basically enables company to achieve success in less time. Whereas in some of the automotive companies in India, there is some hierarchical structure. You have to go to your manager has to go to senior manager. So I definitely see that culture change coming to India, especially for a mechanical or automotive engineering background, where it's more friendly and your ideas are respected. And then basically having like a Silicon Valley work culture where everyone respects everyone and each idea is actually considered as a future expansion of the company.
Very nice, very nice. Uh, let's talk about your new role, because I've been posting stories on that page that now Rushikesh has been working as the program manager. He was the ex-process engineer within the company. What's your new role like? And when it says a manager word, it has a manager word in the title. Does it mean it's a management position completely, or do you still have a touch with the engineering team?
Well, my title is technical program manager, so I
Okay.
do have in touch with technical team. Initially, I was more into manufacturing, but now I'm helping design engineering in Tesla. So I'm a technical program manager within the design engineering group, and I work with interior engineering specifically. My team or our team works specifically with designing instrument panel, then the center screen, the center console, seats. So basically, whatever you see inside the car is basically designed with the team which I work. So it's kind of a different role from previous. It is definitely more technical because now I'm more involved in the product development cycle rather than implementing product at high scale or full volume manufacturing. So it is there are a lot of technical issues, technical challenges, but I'm kind of still learning. I've spent like maybe 4 or 5 months in my current role. But my current role mostly involves working with a global team where we have a factory in Shanghai. Soon there'll be factory in Berlin, and then there's a factory coming up in Austin, Texas as well. So basically, I am kind of a bridge between the team here in Fremont, where we have our vehicle engineering or the R&D center currently, and the bridge between the design engineering and manufacturing engineering and implementing product at global scale for expansion.
Nice, nice, very nice. So do you still miss being that actual on-floor guy who's solving engineering problems, or you're now enjoying the role of being into management within the Tesla team?
Well, both the roles are very different. So I do miss being in process engineering, which is more of like manufacturing engineering, getting hands-on with all the grease, torque tools, and stuff. One of the good thing about being a manufacturing engineer is whatever changes you make on the line, you can actually see them with your eyes, that what impact those changes or those continuous improvements are being made in terms of production numbers, in terms of quality, in terms of basically how the customer quality looks. So that was more impactful. Like you can work on something and you can see the end result. But right now, the role which I am in, it's more of like a virtual role. Of course, because of COVID, I cannot travel anywhere. So most of the time I have to spend on Microsoft Teams meeting, but it is more of bridging the gap between A to B, which is very important because we have the same product being launched in multiple continents. And then like the car has like multiple n number of parts, thousands of parts. So you have to make sure that whatever we have here is basically carried over into another continent and then launched successfully. So this is more of like a virtual role, but I do miss manufacturing engineering role as well.
Absolutely. And because we are so connected to that mechanical world, did our bachelor's in mechanical, you did your master's in manufacturing. So it kinds of always takes us back to the roots where we always miss what we learned and then what we initially started working as. Let's talk about COVID and the impact this pandemic has had on this automobile sector and the overall manufacturing sector. You being at Tesla, you might have seen the sales dip down. You know, the number of cars which were sold every month, that has drastically dipped down. And you know, is that going to have a long-term effect on how people buy cars in the world? Uh, be it a fuel power car or be it a battery power car. What do you think?
So to be honest, like yes, the sales have drastically reduced for gasoline cars, IC engine combustion cars in past 4 to 5 months. A lot of big companies like BMW, Volkswagen, Audi, all of them are struggling, and prices have dropped down to a very significant level. But Tesla sales haven't gone down, so it has gone up eventually month by month. So I would say like COVID hasn't really impacted Tesla because we are we are breaking records back to back every quarter, making more number of cars, selling more number of cars, and being profitable. So that certainly tells that what the future holds, because Tesla being an electric car company and all the gasoline car companies are struggling to keep up with COVID, but there hasn't been a single impact in terms of sales for Tesla because of COVID. So that certainly tells us the future is electric vehicles. But one of the points which you mentioned in order to answer for other companies, let's say why the sales have dipped up for more number of cars, because most of the people they are skeptical about buying a car in such tough situations, and it is creating its own market for buses, electric buses, public transportation. Henceforth, like after of course the COVID ends, more like for countries which has high population density, whereas India, China, or maybe other Southeast Asian countries, I feel it is very important to get into sustainable and affordable public transportation. If you have to keep up with the world, then I think most of the automotive company needs to change their direction, that how they can have a sustainable and affordable public transport henceforth. I think that is one of the industry which is very underrated in terms of public transport, but I think that's certainly going to become one of the most valuable industries in coming days, because population is increasing at alarming rate. So I definitely feel there's a lot of scope involved in terms of public transportation, making a sustainable public transportation, whether it is buses, whether it is metros or other modes as well.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with your point. And I guess, more like of the sort of when we talk about this fossil fuel cars and using these gasoline fuels, it's very important to talk about public transportation, because one day or the other, we are going to have all these cars back on the road and the pollution levels are going to go up again, which is absolutely right. And that's where the demand for the electric car comes up. And that's the reason probably why the sales haven't dipped down.
Yes.
Tell me this, is the number of jobs, very important question for everybody in India, probably in the US, trying to get a job. Is the number of jobs in the market directly proportional to the sales of the company or the overall revenue of the company? Will they still hire looking at a future forecast, or if the COVID has impacted this industry, will this recruitment process go down?
I think there are two aspects to it. So in other companies, yes, it is a direct impact of the COVID. But in terms of Tesla, Tesla is still hiring, still looking for people because the thing is, if we invest in people right now, if you hire more people, more talent, which is readily available to work for you, I think it will have a push effect sometime around next year or next 2 years. So putting a lot of efforts right now will mint greater products in next coming years. So it's always a chain reaction. So in order to have a bigger market or higher sales, you need to hire people maybe 2 3 years earlier so that you can prepare them and then build them up for new product development cycle, and then eventually launch a car which is more affordable in terms of more in performance, whether it is electric miles or other aspects. So it is kind of a chain reaction. So Tesla is still hiring heavily in United States.
Very nice, very nice. So from what I'm hearing is that the company will definitely think about the future. It will definitely not stop the hiring process, but it will also think about how these people can contribute to the R&D development and in contributing towards more ideas. Great. What about the companies like BMW and Volkswagen? Do you think they will still hire as much as Tesla does?
So I'm not 100% sure because I'm very disconnected from the gasoline car companies. Unfortunately, there is none in California. The place where I live, it's mostly a startup culture. So most of the automotive companies in and around Silicon Valley are electric car companies, to Lucid, Faraday Future. There are other companies as well. Most of the gasoline car companies in US are centered around Midwest or Michigan area. So I don't really know what's happening there, but I definitely think that Tesla being successfully able to show the world that an electric car can work and we can build an affordable electric car. I think it's basically changing the mindset in this automotive industry, where this big giant like Volkswagen, BMW, and they're also thinking about sustainable future. So they're really shifting gears right now, seeing Tesla's success in terms of electric vehicle production and sales. They're really shifting gears. So I do see a dramatic impact in the automotive industry in next 2 to 3 years, where all the big giant automotive companies will go electric fully, depending on what country they're launching the product for.
Fantastic, fantastic. A lot of students are now skeptical as to consider whether they should come to the US. If a mechanical engineering graduate or an industrial or a manufacturing engineering graduate has to pursue their masters in the US, that would be probably the next 2 years down the line. Do you think that it's still a great idea? It does hold a good prospect to build a good career in the US based on how we come back after COVID?
So there are two aspects to it. One is education and other is visa. Of course, getting work visa is becoming difficult day by day because of the competition of Indian population here in United States. Because like you may have noticed as well, like how many Indian students were there in your master's class. For me, the school at which I went to, there were 90% of kids in my classroom were from India. So competition is day by day increasing. In terms of visa, it is getting more difficult day by day, of course, because of President Trump administration as well, but it may change next year. But in terms of education quality and job opportunities, I feel yes, there is a prospect market because supply to demand ratio is very low. There's a lot of demand, whether it is automotive industry or whether it is software engineering, computer science, electrical engineering, and the number of good, valuable engineers who can serve in their mission are less. So I do see a potential prospect in coming to United States and studying and then applying for jobs and joining good companies. But of course, there's other side of the coin, which is basically the visa, making it more difficult to retain good quality of talent in United States.
Right. Okay. I think that pretty much covers what we all are facing here. Having said that, if somebody has to decide they're coming to US, okay, they have made a decision. Now they want to start working here. Tell us what the recruitment process of Tesla is like. How do recruiters hunt for talent? What's the mentality behind that, and how do they filter out these resumes?
That is a very good question, Mohit. So there is a short answer to it as well as there's a long answer to it. But like the majority of the population which have joined on this call are mostly students. So I would like to go in depth regarding what the recruitment process is. So for Tesla, it doesn't matter what kind of degree you hold or what kind of engineering school you come from, whether it is your bachelor's degree or for master's degree. And I think Elon, our CEO, has made it like gone in public and said a lot of times that you don't actually require a degree to join Tesla. But being said that, you need to be really strong in any of the skills which are required in Tesla's mission of accelerating world to sustainable transportation. So basically, you need to be top notch, whether it is electrical electronics or whether it is electrical coding, C, Java, other forms of development, or hardcore mechanical engineering as well. If you are currently working in any Baha or Supra FSA teams of your college, then I think you're on right path, because what gets valued more during the recruitment process is what kind of hands-on experience you have, especially for mechanical and automotive engineers. They won't really look at your marks, like how many courses you have flunked or how many courses you have passed with flying colors, but what matters is what you have done other than just gaining theoretical knowledge. So having practical knowledge is must in order to secure an internship or a full-time experience or a full-time position in Tesla.
Okay, great. I think that pretty much summarizes the entire question which I wanted to ask, and also a follow-up question. Let me take you to a question which we might have already discussed in the live interviews. The question I have is, when Indian graduates are so much surplus in the number of people graduating in engineering in India, how do these students, how can they improve their skills so as to be ready to work for a Tesla internship 1 year as soon as they come in the US?
That's a very good question, Mohit. So as I was mentioning about the recruitment process, you really need to be outside box thinker. Like you need to be innovative. You need to be confident. You need to have self-confidence. You need to have good interpersonal skill. You need to have good communication skills. And then this skill set will basically help you find an internship at Tesla. One of the things which I feel which I took as very underrated during our bachelor's degree was soft skill course. So that's glad that every engineering college or university has a soft skill course. Maybe it's bi-weekly or once in a month, but most of us bunk that courses. But after joining the corporate world, you get to know how important it is to have good soft skills, whether it is presentation skills or whether it is communication skills or how you communicate your ideas through basically verbally, because that is very important. There are a lot of great engineers in India. They have a lot of great ideas, but if my opinion is, one of the things where we lack is basically getting those ideas out of our mind verbally and showing them to the world, or basically showing it to your manager, supervisor, or to the company. So yeah, one thing is you need to improve your soft skills for sure. And second thing is, as I mentioned, if you are just like studying engineering theoretically, I would advise you to join some club or join a Baha FSA team so that you can get some practical experience. And eventually, it's not about practical experience, but once you start working on things hands-on, you'll develop your own interest. You'll basically see your mindset change regarding mechanical engineering or automotive engineering, of how interesting it is, how the subsystems run, what is the mechanics, what is the kinematics, how does the electric vehicle work. So you start getting deeper and deeper, which basically is like cultivating your own thoughts and then sowing the seeds so that you can get surplus production after that. So it is that kind of analogy. As you start developing your own interest, you'll feel more confident about it, and then you'll start learning more about it, which will definitely help once you come to United States to do your master's degree. I feel master's degree is like a flight. Like, I mean, you sit in the flight, you don't know like how 2 years basically go as fast as possible once you complete all the courses, and then you graduate in masters. So it's like basically destination A to B. Basically, master's degree is your flight, which will help you land a job, whether it is in automotive sector or other sectors as well. So once you come to masters, you definitely need to ensure that you basically study hard in first couple of semesters and try and use your theoretical as well as practical experience from India, whether you're working for a company or working for a collegiate club, and use that, put that on your resume in order to apply for internships.
Fantastic. Great answer, Rushi. I think you have articulated that answer and put it from a very broad perspective. and talked about a lot of topics which actually matter towards contributing a successful career in the United States. Moving on, I wanted to ask you now, because US has these challenges of job structures and visa problems and all of that. If somebody has to really think about studying abroad, will it be a better decision according to you, your perspective, based on if they want to study in Germany, being a manufacturing industrial, mechanical person, or will it still be a good idea to come to the US and pursue your career?
That is a tough question, Mohit, I would say, because there are pros and cons of each country, like continuing higher studies in India, continuing higher studies in US or Germany. But one of the things which I feel like is everyone can be a Tesla engineer. Everyone can get a job at Tesla. It's just about the timing, determination you have, and the opportunities available. One of the negative things of continuing higher studies in India is there's tons of competition. Like we have 120 engineering colleges in Pune. Once upon a time, I was talking to someone. I said that, okay, I come from Pune University, and there are like 120 engineering schools, and they're like, we have one engineering college in maybe 120 districts or in a state. So, which is kind of which shows you like how much talent we develop in India versus the opportunities available. There are a lot of opportunities available, but the competition is very tight. So if you really want to get out of that bubble of competition, reservation, then I think like pursuing a career in whether it is US, Germany is beneficial because here the competition is less and chances of you finding a better job out of India are better if you go for higher studies. In terms of answering to country specific, as you already mentioned, like US is becoming day by day difficult for the visa, but I see a lot of students are going to Ireland, Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore. So I think overall you should have your own study, like in your respective field, whether it is mechanical or other engineering fields. What is the trend? And you should be at least 2 steps ahead of what's happening, meaning that let's say right now in US, how it is, but eventually let's say other countries with lesser population numbers like Netherlands or any other European country,
Yeah.
they are recovering their economy, and once the economy starts recovering, it invites more and more engineering sectors and development and manufacturing into the country. So you should be 2 steps ahead of what's happening around the world, and then take your decision based on that, which country you want to go for higher studies and where are the opportunities for you.
Right, right. Fantastic. I guess you pretty much covered how economies compare to each other and what students should do in this case when it comes to deciding where to study abroad. Uh, Whoever has some questions, do post it. I did see some questions, and I'll let you know what those questions are, and make sure you keep posting your questions if you're watching the live stream. Uh, Somebody asked the timeline of these factories, coming up in Austin, and so do you have, like, when it is coming in Berlin, what's the plan for Austin?
uh, I cannot disclose the information
Okay.
because again I've signed an NDA. But in a general time frame, I think which Elon has already conveyed through his tweets. Right now, the work is going on for the Berlin factory. Shanghai is almost ready. It got built in 9 months, which is a recordable timeline. Like it's already started producing cars at full volume. Our Berlin factory is coming up very soon next year, and then followed by Texas, Austin as well.
Fantastic. Okay. There's some person called Mukesh Baswekar. He's asking, can you please discuss about the virtual integration at Tesla? I have no idea what that is.
Oh wow, that's a good question. By the way, Mukesh is from SKNCOE, and I think he visited
nice.
California. He visited my place as well. I took him to the factory, showed the factory around. So that is a very good question. In terms of virtual integration, I think I would take this question as how has COVID impacted, where you cannot be in touch with someone face to face, and how you are interacting virtually to make meaningful products and have basically basically not stopping the manufacturing, continuing it, and then like going step by step ahead. So in terms of that, I think all the companies, like all around world, everyone has basically coped up with them of how to interact virtually. Like lots of schools around the world are going virtual. Like teacher holds a Zoom class where there are students. Some of them will learn, some of them will do time pass, but it's about the same thing. Like as long as you're integrated to the mission of the company, I think whether it's virtual or whether it's person, it shouldn't matter. Even if you're working from home or even if you're interacting virtually with your teammates, I think you can still make meaningful products as long as you're committed to the mission of the company. And one thing which I noticed at Tesla is no matter what age group, no matter what engineering school, no matter which team the employee belongs to, everyone is committed strongly to the mission, they are committed to the value which Tesla is giving back to the world. So as long as you're passionate about that mission, I think virtual or in person doesn't matter. Everyone is trying to give their 100% and basically give it back to the Tesla so that Tesla can give it back to the world in terms of sustainable transportation.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm sorry, there's some background noise going on above my apartment. Whoever lives there, so they're doing some construction
Cleaning
work.
stuff on weekends.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I guess we pretty much covered all the topics. And to be fairly honest, you also talked about what a student should think before coming to the US. Uh, do you still hear that?
Yeah, a little bit, but that's not disturbing.
Okay, okay. So I think you pretty much talked about what a student should think before coming to the US. Uh, is there any specific change which this COVID will bring in? Because be it financing to the colleges, be it the fee structures, do you think they will actually take down that GRE so-called cutoff number because they don't get enough admissions? And will that help students to get into a better college?
That is an interesting question. So, few of my friends who joined the engineering schools or universities here in US this year, the academic fees has gone up slightly by 10 to 15%. But at the same time, most of the colleges have lowered down the expectations in terms of students having their GRE score, TOEFL score. Most of the good universities have waived off GRE completely. So, if you have a really strong SOP, really strong letter of recommendation, then I think most of the engineering schools are looking for candidates because, of course, they need to run their own economy. They need to pay professors the salary. So they're looking for more and more students. So it is a good time if you're really wanting to go for higher studies. But of course, because of COVID, everything is virtual and it's not fun to attend classes on Zoom. So hopefully, everything gets back in the shape probably by next year, as everyone is hoping, and then henceforth it will improve.
Fantastic. I guess when we are at a stage where we really don't know what's going to happen beyond COVID, when there are so many layoffs and so many negative news coming out and visa restrictions, there could be, I think, according to me, a situation where everything is green and everything is blooming. The economy is recovering at a very faster rate. Or there could also be a situation where the international students might land up in a problem as to not get enough jobs and all. What, according to you, bringing to the conclusion side, what, according to you, is the main reason international students, specifically from India, have to struggle to get a full-time job?
Where in United States?
In the US.
Is this question specifically for mechanical automotive
Nothing.
background?
Just general. What's your perspective? I mean, are
I
we not
think
ready in terms of skills, or we are not just prepared in advance?
I think in terms of skills, in terms of engineering knowledge, I think we are good. I think the only thing which matters at this point post COVID is basically the visa situation. So most of the automotive companies in United States, for example, Ford, General Motors, Fiat Chrysler, all these companies basically they have been running their operations for more than 80 years, and they don't directly sponsor H1B, which is a work visa, to the candidates because they went bankrupt in 2008. They have federal loan, and according to the federal loan, you cannot hire international talent directly. So some of the engineers which are Indian are working for these big companies, but they're working through contract. And then when you're working through contract, there are other regulations which work visa has as well. So it is just making more and more difficult for any international student, whether it is Indian, Chinese, to work in United States because of this visa regulations. And of course, like yes, we are dominating US in terms of job. Like if you see in any company in Silicon Valley, whether it is Tesla, Facebook, Google, most of the engineers, good engineers, or most of the top corporate people, whether it is vice president, CEO, most of them are Indian or from South Asian countries. So we are dominating. So of course, US needs to recover from unemployment. So that's why they're making it more difficult for international students to find a job. So But once it gets recovered in 4 or 5 years, I think, or maybe 3 years, I don't know how long it will take. I'm not a expert in terms of economics, but once it gets recovered, I think it will again start blooming up for international students, because there's lot of demand in United States. There are a lot of startups which are coming up, and one of the biggest thing which US has advantage over other nations is basically the GDP and the economy. So any country which has a good GDP and good economy, more and more R&D will go into that specific country. So of course, the GDP and economy has fallen for US in last few months, but I think it will recover, and it will recover faster than any other country in the world.
Excellent, excellent. Uh, I did get a question, and I think which is very important. There is a perception that a referral program is very important to get a job. In India, it's there's a very famous saying that अगर तू उसको जानता है तो तेरे को job मिलेगा. How does a referral program work in the US? When you refer me for some position, say if I have to apply to Tesla and you refer me through your referral program, what goes on in the background, and how is my resume treated differently than the others, or is it so?
To be honest, I don't know what happens with other companies in US in terms of referral program, but in Tesla specifically, it doesn't matter if the candidate applies directly online or whether someone refers him. In both the things, they have to go through the same process where a recruiter will review your resume. And if they think that the resume matches with the job expectations or the internship expectations, for sure they'll keep you in preferred loop, and then they'll set up a call, and then henceforth. But in terms of referral program, I think rather than you depending on someone who can provide a reference for you, why not build a profile which will basically impress the recruiters? You have plenty of time in the world to work on your soft skills. You can work on working on some really fascinating project. So for example, I would say let's talk about a company, whether it is Microsoft or Tesla. You should know what that company is struggling in. Like, of course, Tesla is basically right now working on autopilot or self-driving cars, FSD cars. So you can be 2 steps ahead of that and try and learn basically the algorithms, the machine learning, try and get more and more coding experience, which will eventually help you to bring your profile to a certain level where a recruiter cannot ignore your resume. So rather than depending on referral program, you can build your own profile and be independent of who provides a referral. I think chances of you getting a full-time job with that kind of mindset are more than any other referral program, I would say.
Very nice, very nice. I really liked that answer of trying to find the inefficiency, the problem, and working on that well in advance before you apply. I guess that's one of the greatest approach you can have towards finding a job. And I remember a quote from Kunal Shah, and I've been very inspired by this entrepreneur. He's now the current founder of Cred, who's one of the sponsors in IPL. He is also he also founded the Free Charge company. He said that the biggest employer in the world is inefficiency.
Yes.
So I really liked that quote, and I completely got reminded of that just because you said this exact same thing, that find the inefficiency, work on that, try to do a project. Great discussion, Arushi. I think, Amey is asking robotics and ADAS being an integration of mechanical electronics CS. What's the scope?
It's a technical question. That's pretty good. But as I say, like humans, basically robots are replacing humans. That is true. I mean, you have visited the Tesla factory as well, and the level of automation which we have, and the intricate architecture between machines talking to the cloud and cloud getting that message back to the systems is like mind blowing. There's so many systems involved when you need to make a automation work. By you yourself sitting at home and enjoying or sipping coffee, and basically machines earning money for you. So it is very important, of course, like having good robotics, mechatronic knowledge, and having that integrated with other forms of engineering. So one of the things which I would like to mention is, of course, mechanical engineering is necessary, but whenever you try to pursue masters, go in the field which is niche, meaning there are less and less engineers available in that field, which will make you, which will help you to find a job faster than any other field. Because recruiters want to hire engineers who are multidisciplinary, who have knowledge about computer science, electronics, electrical, and other forms of engineering as well. So that's a good question. Like if there is an opportunity, if there is a way through which you can learn multidisciplinary courses and do a project of not just which is based on hardcore mechanical or automotive engineering, but it's basically an integration of n number of things, I would highly promote that, because that's what the world needs right now. I think civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering is all old school now. You need to have multidisciplinary knowledge in order to sustain in the pool of competition.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I think this is by far a very knowledgeable, let's say a podcast or a Zoom interview. And what I know of is you are a very good technical person, and now that you have transitioned into a management role, you are also trying to gather those skills. Do you think that a management degree would have helped you transition into this role faster rather than an engineering degree, if you were
In
to
other
directly work as a program manager?
in other companies, yes, but one of the things which I like about Tesla is it's a free environment. If you like something, if you want to learn something, and if you have like some kind of experience about it, if you understand what goes on behind that position and what is expected, then I think you're not restricted from moving teams. So I had like zero background in project management, but the way I approached the new team is basically based on my manufacturing experience. Because during my manufacturing, I just didn't learn manufacturing. I learned how to talk to people, because I had to deal with cross-functional teams, whether it is controls engineering, supply chain, sales, marketing, electrical engineering, automation engineering, and tons of teams. So that experience kind of helped me improve some of my management skills and how to lead a issue or a problem in a certain direction, where you can get inputs from multiple teams and try and resolve it as fast as possible. So that kind of experience helped me crack the interview for my project management. But of course, on side note, I'm getting a certification done from Stanford University as well, because I feel in order to sustain the competition, you need a degree as well as you need practical experience as well, so that you can climb the ladder faster than anyone else who is trying to follow the same path.
Fantastic. Best of luck with that certification course. And I think this is very essential, that even if you're working full time with such a great company, you still keep learning. And that's a very great approach.
I think there is plenty of time on the weekend. I feel like we only work Monday to Friday.
Right.
Our working hours are less. We have more of free time. So I think we should definitely make use of the hours which we have weekend. You should definitely enjoy. But whatever efforts you put in right now in this age group of 20 to 30 will yield you better results afterwards. So utilize your time to the best possible.
Fantastic. I think the next time I have to properly manage my light, because this is very random. The sun is rising somewhere in the southeast direction where I am at, and it's very random. I mean, I can see the darkness behind me. All right, Rushi, I guess 40 minutes and great discussion. Do you have any concluding remarks? Because this interview is going to go on YouTube, I want everybody to see this to the extended length. I'll definitely make clips and, make questions and important snippets out of this interview. But any concluding remarks from your side?
I think, do we have any other questions, or we are done for the day? Because I feel like we answered very less questions.
Stream had a less number of questions, so probably I just took off the ones which are not necessary, but we pretty much discussed, and there are some repetitive questions, so I just did not include that.
Okay, cool. No worries. I mean, it was pleasure talking to you, Mohit. Again, like as I mentioned, we have been friends since engineering days, and Absolutely. I really like to collaborate with you. The thing is, the reason why I like to collaborate with you is me not being a Tesla engineer or a program manager. I'm just a simple engineer as everyone is. But what I want to do is I want everyone to understand their own potential, be positive about it, put more and more efforts in the personality development or in technical skills development, so that which can help them land a good job in their life. Getting a job with big company is not difficult, but you really need to work hard on yourself, gain that self-confidence, so that you can crack any interview. So that is one of my like that's what I that's what I want to give it back to the young engineers or people who are trying to come to United States for masters. Like, believe in yourself. You are definitely worth of working for a very big company. They're looking for you, but just help, like basically give information to yourselves, work on like niche things, work on good projects, work on personal development. You will definitely find a job.
Great, great. I think this is the best way to end this conversation today. I'm sure we can keep on and on and on because we have so many things to talk about. And we also always feel at the end of the conversation that we have missed out something. But I guess today's discussion was pretty good enough surrounding the pandemic situation. What should students do? And I guess I just have to thank you and for giving your time. And I started getting comments that, hey, it's a great conversation. Thank you. So thanks, Rushi. And I'll definitely post this on the YouTube where everybody can see it. Most of the people have already seen your interview, which we did in California. And I also want them to see this Zoom call as well. Let's catch up later again. I'm sure a lot of people will keep demanding, hey, let's bring Rushi back again, and we'll come back to you as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Mohit. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just message me. I'm more than ready to talk to you on weekends and try and understand what problems you have and how to guide a way out. But thanks for inviting me, Mohit, again. And thanks everyone for watching two idiots talking about future. But yeah, I mean, thank you, everyone.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'll definitely put your account link to the posts. And once again, thank you so much. And you have a very great Saturday.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, everyone.